Hello? Is anyone there? Can you hear us? Can you say anything? Paul, are you with us? If you're with us, can you knock twice?
DJ, this is a Zoom call, not a seance.
Welcome back to another episode of Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, and I turned down the starring role in Two Girls, One Cup because it just wasn't graphic enough, along with my co-host.
Paul, the final signature on that change.org petition that got Selena Gomez banned from Walgreens. As usual.
I didn't know I didn't know Selena was banned from Walgreens.
She is no longer welcome back, thanks to me. And you're welcome to all the people in Walgreens that she has been harassing with that ugly, ugly boyfriend of hers. Well, actually,
Married.
I take that back. They are married, and I will pay some respect to Benny Blanco. I don't want to get canceled because I called Benny Blanco ugly, but that relationship does give me a lot of hope for my future, is all I will say in that regards.
Yes. And if you're watching this, you've definitely already noticed that things look a little bit different. And if you're listening to this, it might also sound a little different. And it's because for the first time, Paul and I are coming to you remotely from two different locations. Ooh, yes, already with our first set of testicular difficulties.
At least the kids got 5 minutes of a good background because we
Yeah,
lost internet within the first 5 minutes of recording.
this truly is going to be the testicular difficulty episode,
I know Mercury truly is in retrograde because shit's been wild.
right?
Shit's been so crazy. Like when they say Mercury is in retrograde or whatever, they must not be joking. And I guess that's gonna be my curse for the week.
I
It's just
agree.
feeling off because of Mercury's Gatorade or whatever.
Mercury is in the microwave.
Exactly, exactly. And but I will say my blessing for the week will be we had a PowerPoint last night with our friends and that was so much fun. This is your sign to get all of your friends together and do a PowerPoint tonight because it was so much fun. And I did put some cursed images on the screen that I'm sure my friends will not
You,
forget for a long time.
I am scarred
Yeah, yeah.
mentally, emotionally, psychologically,
Anally,
psychically, spiritually, physically,
anally.
anal. Well, I mean, I can't blame that on that picture. Been there, done that.
Oh my gosh. And now that I'm in my swivelly chair, I have to like remind myself not to like swivel the entire time.
Yeah, so when we do this, this is also my Twinks and Drinks setup. Kind of. I made it a little more professional looking.
Hmm.
But I sit on a hardback dining room chair. And I do it specifically so that I cannot swivel. But I also can't cross my legs because I have my setup here where I have a light and I have my camera, I have the tablet, I have the microphone. And if I cross my legs, it's all gonna tumble.
Right, right.
And that's my curse for this week.
Then what's your blessing?
My blessing is that we were able to do this and that you were willing to do the Zoom call because I didn't feel like driving to your house.
Yeah, I do get the thing about gas prices though,
Yeah.
because gas prices are crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, in the past 2 days, I've driven to and from your house 4 times.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2 times there, 2 times back.
Yeah, yeah.
And that took up half a tank of gas, and gas is nearly $4 a gallon.
Yeah, gas
And
is expensive.
so I will not be traveling for the foreseeable future. Catch me on a bike.
Right. Catch us walking everywhere.
I'm going to be skinny for the sheer fact that I'm just going to start biking everywhere.
Right, right. And you live in like the middle of nowhere, so like walking anywhere take at least a half hour to get anywhere.
There's a little farm stand up the street for me, and like I've definitely like in my skinny hot girl walk era, which was COVID when I was going on 5 mile walks every day because I was bored. I definitely like walked past there multiple times with ease. So I think if I get a bike, I could probably bike there and just like get groceries from the farm market,
Mm, interesting.
get
Yeah.
some raw milk.
Live your Hallmark fantasy, your Gilmore Girls fantasy in bike places.
Okay, but I do want a bike, and I brought this up to our friend group, and I already have my eye on a bike, and it's a baby blue. It's one of those vintage looking ones. It's got a basket on the front. Like it's truly giving Hallmark.
Oh my God. I'm gonna need to see this bike. That's so funny.
I will show you off camera because it's not going to translate well.
Right, right. Now, should we get into the beverages? Even though we're not
Yes.
in person, we still got to keep up the
Yes,
beverages.
it's a build your own beverage day.
Mm.
Come as you are, if you will. Paul, what are you drinking?
Today, I am drinking a vodka and a Sprite. I am caffeine is not the tea for today, so we are drinking Sprite and vodka because I don't want a wine headache later, and caffeine is not the tea. So we went kind of basic and just did a vodka and Sprite in
Nice.
our. If you can see my cool glass,
Yes, it shows up so much better on this camera than our other camera.
it do look cool.
And I'm so sorry if you hear doors opening and closing in the background. I do live with other people, and what are boundaries?
No, DJ, they're ghosts. This is a paranormal podcast. They're
Yes.
ghosts. You're haunted. Ooh, spooky.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's not Joe Chessie the second. That's Joe Chessie the first, who's been dead for 50 years. Ooh.
Who's Joe Chessie?
That my grandfather, like, so
Mm.
his father was oh, I'm not going to dox them, but like Chessie is like a nickname because we have a very Polish. They had this is my mother's family. She had a very Polish last name, so he went by Chessie because
Chessie.
yeah, because Polish names are hard to think. But my great grandfather was Joseph, and he named my grandfather Joseph. But my grandfather goes by his middle name Bill, short for William,
Oh.
to distinguish them. So it's it's not Bill, it's Joe Chessie.
Ooh,
He's been dead
spooky.
since '84.
Ooh, he's Polish. He's gonna haunt you with the pierogies. Oh,
Oh
they're from
no.
the freezer section of Walmart.
I want to say he would never have done that, but I'm sure it happened.
Probably. What are you drinking?
Anyways, I'm drinking a Swifty. It's a very large Swifty. It's vodka and Diet Coke. And it is fresh. I had to open up a brand new bottle of Diet Coke for this.
Period. We love a fresh DC, a little DC moment.
So, I have not eaten anything yet today, and there's a lot of vodka in here, so I know it's going to wreck me for the rest of the day. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's going to ruin my life.
Mm. We're given that 5 grapes. Maybe vodka Sprite is going to be my new go-to because that's real good, honestly.
It's very refreshing every now and again.
Do we know if there's caffeine in Sprite? We're gonna have to look that up.
I think it's naturally caffeine free.
Period. Well,
And
actually, go ahead.
I can't say naturally. I think it is genetically modified to be caffeine free.
Like me.
Yes. But they do sell sugar free Sprite as well, if the sugar is what's hanging you up.
Mm, mm. No, no. But I'm giving mine 5 grapes. What are you giving yours?
I'm giving mine 5 grapes per usual.
It is, yeah, it's easy to rate it 5 grapes when you choose the beverage.
It
And
it really is, but you know what? It's we were overdue for a 5 beverage day.
yeah, I thought we were gonna do it with the pessimist wine last week, but she just didn't measure up, unfortunately. Mucho unfortunato.
Oh, I was like, why does this Diet Coke have a hint of lemon in it? That is the glass that I use to drink water in while I'm at work, and I always drink my water with lemon to make it more palatable going down. And
Mm.
I guess I didn't wash it correctly.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that. See, that's the one thing I hate about water is there's no flavor. Excuse me. Sorry. I hate it.
Lemon, lime.
9.
Okay. Well, is there anything else before we get into it?
Nah, let's get into it.
Awesome. And I have this turned up so huge. Let me see what 200% looks like. That's crazy. So I have already have it at 150% and it's still a little blurry around the edges. So we're gonna have to do the glasses at the end of the nose because if I wear them on my face, you're gonna see nothing but ring light reflection.
Oh my god.
And I know this from many twinks and drinks.
Mm, yes.
Let me tilt the hat back a little more so you can actually see my face. Awesome. So Paul, let me tell you a story.
Let's get into it.
Today, on Crips and Corks, we're pouring a glass and stepping into one of Scotland's most mysterious stronghold, Glamis Castle. Rising from the misty countryside of Angus, this fairy tale fortress has been home to royalty, whispered legends, and a few chilling secrets that refuse to stay buried. Behind its towers and ivy-covered walls lies a history that reads like gothic fiction. A nobleman said to have gambled with the devil himself, a hidden chamber where a monstrous heir was allegedly locked away for life. Ghostly figures wandering candlelit corridors long after the castle doors are shut. But Glamis isn't just a place of hauntings and folklore. It's also a castle tied to the British royal family and centuries of real, documented history. So today, we'll uncork these stories, separate fact from legend, and wander the shadowy halls of one of Scotland's most haunted castles. So pour yourself a drink, dim the lights, and join us as we explore the secrets, spirits, and scandals of Glamis Castle.
I got haggis in me kilt.
Oh, if you got haggis in your kilt, you got more problems than ghosts.
Did I sound like Shrek?
You sounded like Paul trying to be Shrek.
Mm. Hey, and that's all we can ask for, really. The biblically accurate Shrek may never be in my future, but maybe one day. I can't do any accents, as we know from many, many, many episodes, but
I think I can do a little bit of a Scottish accent if I say one phrase, and it's the wee lad with the hair on his cheeks and the eyes as blue as the loch, but the loch isn't really blue, it's more of a black.
the wee lad.
The
He's
wee
got
lad
the
with the hair
haggis
on
in
his
his kilt.
cheeks,
He's
but
got the
the haggis in the
lawnmower.
kilt. Scottish is very hard. That's the last time I do that accent for the rest of the episode.
Oh my gosh.
So let's get a little bit into the history of what made this castle so frickin' haunted. The site of Glamis Castle, and it is spelled Glamis but pronounced Glams.
Mm.
So if you try to look it up, it's Glamis, but it is pronounced Glams. The site of Glams Castle has held importance all the way back to prehistoric times. The land features a noted Pictish stone that is intricately carved. I told you this Swifty was gonna fuck me up.
Oh my god, you're not even 5 minutes in, bitch, and you're
I
stuttering.
know, and I'm already slurring. So these Pictish stones date to between the 6th and the ninth centuries and are the only surviving of the Picts who ruled the land then and indicate the period when they converted from paganism to Christianity. So these only date from the end of the Pictish era of Scotland.
Okay, when pick sounds like a slur, like if I were to call someone a pick, I feel like that would be offensive. It definitely sounds like a slur.
Okay, so they were a real type of people and a little like tie-in to like folklore that we recognize. The Picts eventually emigrated to Ireland,
Hmm.
and over in Ireland, they would call people like the ancient Irish word for people were seas. So they called the Pictish people Pixies,
Oh,
and
okay.
the Pixies ruled the land before the Irish. And so a lot of the stories of the Fae and the Pixies ruling Ireland before the Irish come from that.
Okay. That's so crazy. I didn't know that's where the word pixie came from.
Yeah, yeah.
The more you
See,
know.
I learned something in college.
Now, are these stones said to be magical or anything?
So these stones were not really magical, not like fairy-esque, but they were actually carved out of older Pictish and like Neolithic monoliths where the Picts and earlier pagans would held their most sacred rituals on the site. So this would be like their church.
Yes, they were summoning femboy twinks back in the
Exactly.
day. Dear ancestors, hear our plea. Give us a twink, something, something. I can't think of any other funny
Oh, I
lyrics.
was gonna do We Feel the Rush. Da, 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 da.
I like that better. No, that would be perfect. Them dancing around this town like, we
Wait,
feel the rush.
we need to get this would be a great TikTok. We need to get a group of our friends who are gay, and we need to get like monks' robes, like scary monks' robes with the hoods and everything. And
Mhm.
we need to sit in a dark room with candles, and we need to chant the lyrics to Rush like it's a sacred chant. Tell me that would not be the best TikTok. So, but eventually the pics died out. Nobody knows where they went. And by nobody knows where they went, it means I didn't feel like researching where they went.
Hey, good enough for me.
But prior to the modern day castle, Glamis was the site of a royal hunting lodge that was used for the ancient kings of Scotland.
Ooh, okay.
Scotland!
We're hunting femboys.
I'm pretty sure there it did used to be that sometimes you'd like hit a certain like a white deer and it would turn into a femboy.
Wait,
I'm
what?
pretty sure there's like old legends from medieval times. Like,
But it's like a succubus or an incubus, whichever is
no,
like.
it was just a femboy under a curse.
I can just picture like the deer dying, and it's giving what you did in our Gettysburg show, our Gettysburg live show, where it's like, oh dear me, oh I've been slain. It'd be a shame.
Wait, what did I say? Oh no, I've been shot in the heart and I'm dying instantly. But I said it 3 times.
Yes.
Each time it took longer to say.
But it's like, I'm dying. It'd be a shame if I were to turn into a femboy and someone were to violate me. Oh no, especially a Scottish king. That'd be
Oh,
awful.
no, do you know what it's giving?
What?
Have you this is like deep, deep in like internet lore. Um, do you remember oh my god, what is he called? Oh my god, I can't remember, but it's like, the light. The light. Ah,
I
the light. Oh my god, I can't
oh,
remember. It's like
gotcha.
from an old public access Australian TV show.
Mm, well, I wouldn't know it then. I'm not Australian.
Well, no, I like see it on TikTok all the time.
Mm.
But it's very much like that. The light.
All right, back to history.
Back to history. In 1034, King Malcolm II, not to be confused with Malcolm in the Middle, was murdered at the Royal Hunting Lodge there. This event would find its way into modern day conception, famously in William Shakespeare's play Macbeth.
Mm.
In the play Macbeth, then Thane Glamis kills King Duncan while he's staying there with him. For reference, because I'm going to say this a lot, Thane is a term roughly meaning Lord of the Manor and comes when a king grants lands to a person, so it's not a noble title. It is a distinction meaning that you hold an estate.
Okay, okay.
So it's not a royal title, it's not a noble title. It comes with land.
Okay, it just means you own land. Okay.
Mhm. Now, in reality, there is no record of who actually killed King Malcolm II, who was actually succeeded by his grandson, King Duncan I, who was later killed by his cousin Macbeth in battle to claim the throne. And it should be noted that the real life Macbeth had no connection whatsoever to Glamis.
Wait, Macbeth was real. I thought Shakespeare made that shit up.
No, it was real.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, it was the play is very not real. The play
So
is
it's not real.
no, but it was based off a real Scottish king who's named Macbeth. But
Oh,
in the
okay.
play, which will get its own episode because the play is very cursed.
Mm.
And I think the curse definitely hit us this weekend because I wrote it a lot. But in the play, Macbeth goes on this murdering spree to claim the throne and then to keep the throne. and basically and then he's just killed by his own hubris. In real life, Macbeth actually had a fairly long reign of 17 years that was noted for its peaceful time, and he was killed in battle, but he was killed by one of Duncan the First's sons or grandsons.
Mm. Well, those ghosts are loud where you are. They're banging around and
I
doing shit.
know it's the wash, and I don't know what's making the sound now.
Mm. What can you do?
I
You know,
apologize.
it is what it is. It's all good.
When I say I'm going to get drunk, wine tipsy, and do the hokey pokey with the ghosts in the basement, these are the ghosts I'm talking about.
Girl, you haven't said that since the Amityville episode.
I know, and
That's
I
a
love it.
throwback.
I love
Big
that saying.
throwback.
Now, some point over the next 3 centuries, the estate, which now included a proper castle on it, passed to the Balliol family. In 1329, Robert the Bruce, he of the Freedom fame. I'm trying to think what movie that is. It has Mel Gibson. Braveheart.
Braveheart. Okay, never
Braveheart.
seen it.
No, I just know that line.
That one was a little that movie was a little too masculine for me, if you will.
I think that movie's a little too masculine for everyone but Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and it's not even like masculine in a hot way like 300 was with all the shirtless men and stuff. It's like gross, bearded, like big burly men. Not
Harry
like
Men.
yeah. Nothing wrong with bears or anything. Don't cancel me, okay? There's nothing wrong with bears, okay? It's just not my tea.
Not your
It's
tea.
someone else's tea, and that's okay.
Amen, brother.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
yes, Mel Gibson took the property back for the Scottish crown.
You said, wait, what's the joke?
Nothing. I said Mel Gibson. I mean Robert the Bruce took back the castle for the Scottish crown. It wasn't a joke. It actually wasn't a joke. You just like sat staring blankly, and I didn't know if I lost you.
Nope, nope, I'm here.
Okay. In 1372, another castle was built on the estate, and it was granted to Sir John Lyon, who became Thane of Glamis.
Was
Um,
he fierce? Was he a fierce little kitty? Little meow meow, the lion?
he must have been a little. He must have been kind of fierce because he was given the land by King Robert II, and 4 years later, Sir John would marry the king's daughter, Princess Joanna Stuart. So I guess he was a little fierce if he got to marry a princess.
Period, period. I can't even imagine marrying royalty. That sounds crazy. I mean, the money would be nice. Maybe I'll need to rewatch Red, White, and Royal Blue and give it another go around.
But
And
all
my
that attention, I don't think you could handle the attention, Paul.
oh yeah, because I'm definitely not an attention whore. I don't post myself on the internet every week to hope not to get attention.
But it's a different type of attention because I mean, honestly, we all seen some of the things you'd be wearing out in public. Now, could you imagine if the paparazzi was catching you out there wearing some of the things you'd be wearing?
Okay.
Could you really live with yourself if you appeared on in Us Weekly's like hot or not listing
Yeah, honestly,
and you were consistently not?
honestly, I would be that celebrity that would be going out in like sweats and things and not giving a fuck. Like, hey, if Justin Bieber can look how he looks on a daily basis, I
That's
can do
true.
whatever I want.
That is true. So, since then, since 1372, the castle and estate have belonged to the Lyons family ever since.
Ears.
So,
Meow.
so over nine, no, math, help me, math, nearly 700 years.
Girl, I'm not the one for math. Trust and believe.
In 1445, Sir John's grandson, Sir Patrick, was ennobled by the king, who granted him the title Lord Glamis and a seat in parliament to go with it. So now we're in government.
Yay, government.
John, the sixth Lord Glamis, married Janet Douglas, daughter of the Master of Angus at the time when King James V was feuding with the Douglas clan. It is never a good idea to marry someone the king is beefing with.
Because you'll get like killed.
Exactly, which is exactly what happened to poor Janet because in 1528, John died and the king just randomly accused Janet of poisoning her husband and had her arrested and burned at the stake for witchcraft in front of her 16-year-old son because he was beefing with her dad.
I bet that made for an awkward bat mitzvah.
I could just imagine the king like standing there, hand on the 16-year-old's thing, and it's like, don't fuck with me.
Very that, very that. It's very Game of Thrones.
It is very Game of Thrones. King James, not satisfied with burning his mother at the stake, also confiscated the castle off of her son and used it for his own until it was returned to John and Janet's son, John, the seventh Lord Glamis, in 1543 after James had died.
I'm just trying to follow and keep everything straight. There's a lot of like people doing a
There's a
lot of
lot of Johns, there's a lot of James, and there's a lot of Patricks.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we said it in our Amityville show, like white people, they pick the same four names, and it's Paul, Peter, John, and they're all biblical
Just the Bible,
names.
just get all the gospels and you're fine.
Exactly, exactly.
So the castle was given back to John, seventh Lord Glamis, in 1543, on behalf of James's daughter, Mary, Queen of Scots, who was actually like 6 weeks old when she became queen. But later, an adult Mary in 1562 stayed at Glamis for 2 nights on her way to quell rebellions in the north. Which I really should have looked at a map because this is fairly far north in Scotland. I really want to know what's more northern than this other than polar bears.
Mhm. Probably the fucking North Pole.
Santa Claus, yeah.
Arctic, yeah. Yep. And,
Now, what was good?
we did bring up a very important question last night at our PowerPoint night. Why did Santa do nothing about 9/11?
I don't think we brought that up. I think you brought that up. And I think you managed to fit 9/11 into every single person's slideshow.
Because I don't think enough people are talking about it. I'm going to become a 9/11 truther and I'm going to start canvassing on the streets of Pittsburgh,
Oh,
spreading the word.
trust me, 9/11 lives rent free in the hearts and minds of every MAGA person who consistently will at the mayor of New York with pictures of 9/11 because he happens to be a Muslim.
Oh, see, I'm not that sort of
I
truther.
know, but I
I'm the
mean,
truther that's like it's an inside. I'm the tinfoil hat truther that's like it's an inside job.
I
Jeff
know.
Beal doesn't melt steel beams or whatever.
Oh my God. Um, this stay at Glamis was not very good for Mary because 5 years later, she was forced to abdicate the throne following her involvement in murdering her second husband and her hasty remarriage to a divorced man called the Earl of Bothwell. She escaped prison and fled to England to try to get the support of her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I, but was instead imprisoned and then executed in 1584 for plotting to assassinate her cousin, Elizabeth I, to claim the English throne. Because Mary really said, if I can't have Scotland, I'm going to have England.
Mm, T.
Her son, James VI, would be named Elizabeth's heir and assume the English throne as James I, who we talked about in Pendle Witches and is known for being a big gay bottom and the hunter of witches.
Oh, just like you.
Exactly. Except I don't hunt witches. I like to think I'm a friend to the witches.
Yes, we are a friend of the witches on the pod here.
In 1603, Patrick, ninth Lord Glamis, rode with King James to London, was later named as Scotland's ambassador to England. That same year, Shakespeare wrote and debuted his tragedy Macbeth, making the title character Thane Glamis at the start of the play and setting the murder of King Duncan there, thus making Glamis world famous.
Like the castle or his like him.
The castle,
The,
because it is, I mean, the entire first part of the play almost the entire first part of the play takes place at Glamis Castle.
Now, Shakespeare obviously like visited the castle, right? And was like
There's
inspired.
no record of him actually visiting the castle. However, a couple years before, he did take a tour of Scotland and he rode within like a certain distance. I want to say like walking distance of the castle.
Mm, you know what that's
And he was inspired also by a history that was treated as fact at the time, that talked a lot about King Malcolm's murder at Glamis.
mm, you know that what that's giving, like him writing about a place he's never been to? It's kind of like what we were doing as kids on Wattpad, writing smut on Wattpad as teenagers, writing about things we've never experienced before,
Yes,
but writing it so honestly concerningly, convincingly, even though it's like things we've never experienced in our lives.
wow, he said to me as he looked into my eyes and placed his hand on my thigh. You are so beautiful. There is no person I would rather have sex with. Gee, I said, blushing. Thanks. I looked away. He twisted my hair out of my eyes. Don't look away, he said, as he kissed me.
And you know what? The girls on Wattpad were living for that shit.
You
And
know,
I was the girls. I was on Wattpad living for that stuff.
every once in a while I go back and I read stuff on Wattpad and I just go, ah, what simpler times.
Wattpad needs to be studied, honestly. Like a cultural phenomenon that the girls need to really talk about more. We need to address this.
Truly, truly. In 1606, King James would raise Lord Glamis to become the Earl of Kinghorn. So, higher title, raising, he's climbing that corporate ladder like Dolly Parton, working 9 to 5.
Good for her. Period.
The new Earl would celebrate by commencing major building works on Glamis, transforming the medieval fortress into a grand country home under architect Inigo Jones, whose other works included the Banqueting House in London, which still stands today, and was the first and arguably one of the most famous English architects. And to give you an idea of what how influential he brought like the architecture of the Italian Renaissance to England, which later started neoclassicism, and which later inspired like Washington D.C.
Oh, okay. That's actually really interesting. Hmm. I didn't realize watch like the buildings in DC, like the major buildings were inspired by that.
So like if you ask American scholars, they're going to say like, oh no, they were inspired by the buildings of ancient Rome. But the only reason why any of the people colonists knew about the buildings of ancient Rome was because Inigo Jones brought neoclassicism, which was a
Oh,
part of the Renaissance, to England.
okay. And now that you say that, when I think of DC now, I never clocked that before, but it does make a lot of sense because the buildings do look very Roman there.
Mm-hmm. Very temple-esque.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even the Lincoln Memorial, that looks
Mm-hmm.
like the Colosseum. Well, not Colosseum, but
It
like,
looks like a temple, like
yeah,
the
Mount Olympus or whatever.
Parthenon, and
The Pantheon.
no, the
Or
Pantheon's in
Parthenon.
Rome and it's around the Parthenon in Athens,
Yes,
which the
yes.
Romans just stole Greek architecture.
Hmm.
Yes, actually, fun fact: before they named it Washington D.C., they really, really considered heavily calling it New Rome,
Oh, that's actually crazy. I never knew that. Hmm.
and they were going to rename the Potomac River the Tiber because the Tiber River runs through Rome, and actually, one of the streams that feeds the Potomac in Washington is the Tiber Creek.
Huh.
They
Well,
were very invested.
I'm glad they didn't do that because that's one thing about American like city names and stuff. It's like there aren't many original city names.
And it's really, really kind of not a slay to have your nation's capital be new anything.
Right, exactly, exactly. Or named after another country. Like what are we doing here?
I mean, I think the only thing, like, if New York had remained our capital, because, like, even though New York is New York, it's just, like, so eponymous. God damn it, Cheryl. Stop screeching. We know you're a banshee. Shut the fuck up. I really hope you heard the siren of the dryer going off.
Oh, I heard it. Yes.
I was trying to make a joke.
Yes. DJ's moonlighting as a laundromat out of his basement. He's running an illegal laundromat.
Yes, because as we enter the new Great Depression, I'm becoming that Great Depression housewife who takes in her neighbor's laundry and also cooks cakes and pies for them for money.
You're kind of like a gay Cinderella.
I tr- Cinderfella, who is he? Where's my
Cinder they
blesser?
them. Cinder they. Cinder non-binary. Cinder that. Cinder it. Cinder disappointment.
Yeah. So the grandson of the first Earl, the third Earl, briefly lost control of the castle following the Civil War when Oliver Cromwell.
Open the fucking dryer, DJ. Your clients are waiting.
No, it has to go for some reason. It goes off 3 times and then it shuts off.
Mm. So we're just waiting for the third now.
Apparently, because I can still hear it going. Actually, let me go see if I open it, if that will stop it. The third Earl briefly lost control of the castle during the English Civil War when Oliver Cromwell housed troops in the castle. But him and his wife would return in 1670 and begin another massive renovation of the castle, which included a Baroque garden and a chapel.
Ooh.
Going to the
Ooh.
chapel and we're gonna get married. I don't
Oh.
know if anyone actually got married in this chapel.
Mm. That's okay. That's okay.
A Davis, but a Baroque garden. What do you know about a Baroque garden?
I would like an intact garden myself.
That's actually a really good one.
Thank you. I do my best. I'll be here for the rest of your lives.
In 1673, King Charles bestowed a new title on the third Earl, making him Earl of Strathmore and Kinghorn.
Hold up. We're only on 1673.
Yeah,
How much history is here? How
it's
much?
going to start going faster a lot. It's now
Okay.
that we're out of the bloody bits, it's going to go a lot faster.
Okay.
Watch me skip 2 centuries here. In 1716, the sixth Earl hosted the Old Pretender, the ousted King James VII's son, who met with tuberculosis patients and attempted to heal them with his touch to prove that he was the true king.
And where was he touching them?
Nowhere good because he did not reclaim the throne.
Oh!
In 1763, the ninth Earl married the heiress Mary Eleanor Bowes and changed the family's last name from Lyon to Bowes Lyon. He would use his wife's fortune to pull down the west wing of the castle to build new kitchens and a billiards room, as well as Glamis Village, an entire village for the estate workers.
Hmm. Nice. It's giving like what the mining companies do. Like they build the town for their miners and things.
Yeah. So rather than just like housing them in dinky little like out cottages, he built them a whole new village, which is slay.
Slay.
Workers'
Rosy Stone
rights.
wasn't great, I imagine, but Slay, as long as they
By
weren't
you
shack
know,
sessions.
I'm gonna say this. By our standards, they probably weren't great, but for those peasants, they were probably living.
It's like that TikTok. They walk in and they're like, "Oh, this is nice. This all you just hear?" You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It was probably very that.
On August 4th, 1900, Claude Bowes-Lyon, 14th Earl of Strathmore, and his wife Cecile welcomed their ninth child, a daughter they named Elizabeth.
How creative, groundbreaking. Another Elizabeth. They really dug deep for that one.
This is the first, oh, I guess not. Like we talked about Elizabeth the first, but in the family, this is the first Elizabeth we've come up on.
Mm.
Records are inconclusive as to whether she is born at Glamis or at their estate in Hertfordshire.
Well, that's gonna keep me up at night.
Truly. Elizabeth spent much of her upbringing at Glamis and loved the old castle. When World War One broke out on her 14th birthday, happy birthday, the world's at war.
Right.
The castle was turned into a nursing home for soldiers returning from the front wounded, and Elizabeth assisted in the care of the soldiers, bringing them books, playing games with them, and writing letters home for them, and she was a great favorite of all of them.
Oh, that's sweet.
On September 16th, 1916, a severe fire broke out in the castle, and the then 16-year-old Elizabeth led the rescue of many of the castle's priceless antiques and works of art after everyone else had been evacuated.
Good for
She's
her.
plucky. Who is she? She's a quirky girl.
What's quirky about that?
I don't know. I went with plucky, and then I thought, like, okay, maybe Paul doesn't know what plucky means, so we're gonna try quirky.
No, honestly, I didn't respond because I didn't really wasn't too. Yeah, okay. I can't lie. You clocked me. I don't really know what plucky means. I kind of just assumed it meant like edgy or
Yeah, it's
something.
kind of edgy, like kind of like courageous.
Yeah. Do you think I'm a himbo?
No, you don't have enough muscles to be a himbo.
What do you think I am?
I also don't think you're dumb enough to be a himbo. I probably should have started with that.
There's just so much I don't know. It's crazy. I
You're
feel like
okay,
I'm.
you're at a liminal space in your life where you're
Mm,
transforming, you're going from preppy twink to goth twunk, but
goth twunk.
you're
Yes,
no longer
that is the
preppy
goal.
twink, but you are not yet goth twunk.
And you know what? Like I said last week, I need Death Comes Lifting to get me into my goth twunk status, okay? I
Do
need the
it.
muscles. Death Comes Lifting. We're going to be rolling up in your gig soon.
Okay. Um, Elizabeth grew from a plucky young girl into a very pretty young woman who is known as being one of the most sought after debutantes of her era. And she married into the royal family, becoming a princess in her own right. She married King George V's second son, Albert, the Duke of York, in 1923. And they would go on to have two daughters, a daughter named Elizabeth in 1926 and a daughter named Margaret in 1930. And Margaret was born at Glamis.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that marked one of the first visits of a ruling monarch at Glamis since, I guess, Mary, Queen of Scots.
Hmm.
In 1936, George V died and was succeeded by his eldest son, Edward VIII, who later that year resigned the throne, leaving his brother Albert to take the throne as King George VI and the former Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon to become queen.
Period.
The new king granted his father-in-law the additional earldom of Strathmore and Kinghorn, very creative, to give him a seat in the House of Lords, as well as making him a Knight of the Order of the Garter. Together, they would reign through World War II, and Hitler referred to her as the most dangerous woman in Europe due to her popularity.
That's badass, though. To get that
Right?
title, that's
To be
badass.
called that by Hitler, like, I don't want Hitler calling me anything, but if he's going to call me something, it better be badass.
Very that. Very that.
Tragically, George II died very young in 1952, and their eldest daughter became Queen Elizabeth II. Well, our Elizabeth took the title Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and lived until 2002, seeing her daughter reign for 50 years out of her total 70 years on the throne, and would continue to visit her family at Glamis for the rest of her life.
Very nice. Very nice.
To this day, the Bowes-Lyons family still resides at Glamis, which is open to the public for tours and is home to the 19th and 6th Earl of Strathmore and Kinghorn.
They're still living there?
They're still living there.
That's crazy.
And you can go visit and see all this shit.
Hmm. I don't know. If I were like royalty or something and lived in a castle, I don't know if I'd be opening up for visits like that. Having all
Um,
those people around and stuff, that's not me. I'm not a people person like that.
so the thing is, a lot of English nobles have to, like, they have one of two choices. They can keep their grand ancestral estates and open them up for public tours to pay for them, or they can sell them and move into a flat in Kensington.
I mean, both options sound kind of sad.
But I mean, I hey, a lot of these places are open for like 3 months of the year,
Okay,
and
I
during
guess
that time, like Lord Miltonberger's just like vacationing in the south of France.
They're going to Myrtle Beach. They're going to Ocean
Exactly.
City.
Exactly. They're off in Ocean City and it's like, I wonder how the tolls are going. Okay. Any questions? And I only ask that because I need a break from talking for like 2 seconds.
Nope, no
I was
questions.
really afraid you were going to say that.
The
All right,
history this
let's get
way.
into the spooky bits.
Ew.
Because after all, with over 1,000 years of history, it's no surprise that this place is haunted.
For sure, for sure.
So even though it did happen long before the castle was ever built, the murder of Malcolm II seems to have started off the dark tidings.
Wow. Slurs on my God-fearing pod. Wow.
Now you know.
I knew you had hate in your heart.
Okay. Even though it happened long before the castle was built, the murder of Malcolm II seems to have started off the dark tidings that reside in the castle.
Ooh.
Some say that the slain king's spilt blood placed a curse on the land. And this actually kind of makes sense because I was going through the history, and at least four of the owners died either in battle or in drunken brawls.
Mm.
It's kind of sad how many of these people died in drunken brawls.
I think I'd rather die in a drunken brawl because at least I won't feel it as much rather than going to battle stone cold sober.
Do you think there's honor? Do you think there's as much honor dying in a drunken brawl as there is in dying in battle?
No, but the thing is, I don't care. I'd rather not feel anything. Yeah, no, I'd rather see. We're talking about a painful death versus a less painful death. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, except in battle, you're getting run through with a sword, and in a drunken brawl, you're getting run through with a sword. And when I say run through a sword, it's not the way Paul likes to run through twinks with his sword.
Got me there. That's rough.
One room in the castle, which is now known as King Malcolm's room, was rumored to be the exact site of the king's murder. And it was rumored because on the stone floor there was a dark spot like a blood stain that could never be washed away and had to later be covered by a wooden floor to hide it.
Hmm.
This may have inspired one of Shakespeare's most famous scenes in his play Macbeth. In the play, Lady Macbeth, obviously the wife of the title character, goes crazy from guilt over the murder she goaded her husband into committing to gain the throne, and she viciously tries to clean invisible bloodstains from the floor, shouting, "Out, damn spot, out, I say."
I remember reading that in high school.
Mm-hmm. So this room inspired that scene.
Interesting. Is the blood still? No, they covered up with the wood floor, you
Yes,
said.
so we're going to assume it's still there.
Mm, nice.
It's kind of like everything, it's kind of like all the holes in my walls that I hide with pictures over them. They're still there, you just can't see them.
Because when you get drunk, you're like a basic white man who likes to punch holes in the wall. And
No, it's
usually
more that
I,
when I'm drunk, I'm extra clumsy and my forehead seems to be a battering ram.
oh my gosh.
Another specter who is said to roam the castle is that of Earl Beardy. Earl Beardy is believed to either be the spirit of Alexander, 2nd Lord Glamis, or Alexander Lindsay, 4th Earl of Crawford. According to the legend, Earl Beardy insisted on playing cards on the Sabbath and all refused because God forbid anyone have fun on a Sunday. They obviously never heard of Sunday Fun Day.
One thing about me is on a Sunday, I'm resting. I'm like,
So Paul would refuse to play card games on a Sunday. Is that what I'm hearing?
it depends on the Sunday, depends on how I'm feeling, but
Mm,
maybe.
okay. Well, the Earl was not having it, and he flew into a rage and declared that he would play with the devil himself until doomsday.
Ooh, how devious.
Later that night, in the midst of a terrible storm, because all these stories have terrible storms, a cloaked stranger, because all these stories have cloaked strangers, arrived at the castle and agreed to play cards with the Earl. The pair played long after everyone went to bed until they heard a horrific scream. They ran to find Earl Beardy slumped over the card table, dead, and with a losing hand of cards in his hand. It is said that during the nights at Glamis, you can hear the sounds of a ghostly card game as Earl Beardy is forced to play cards until the end of time after having lost his soul to the devil.
Girl, this story is so similar to that Loftus Hall
It
story.
really is.
That's so, it's basically the same story, except this devil didn't fly through the roof and this guy's stuck playing cards for
Yeah.
the end of time, which would be
Okay.
fucking
Would you rather hole in your roof playing cards for all eternity?
probably playing cards for all. No, the hole in the roof would probably be better. No, the hole in the
Do
roof
you
would.
know how expensive roof repair is, Paul?
Well, it's better than playing fucking cards for all of
I know,
humanity.
I agree with you, but I had to throw that out there.
Now, bringing up the Loftus Hall thing real quick, if Anne Hathaway haunts Loftus Hall, do you think Selena Gomez haunts this one?
No. I think no. Yeah. I think Colin Firth or Helena Bonham Carter.
Is that a real person or are you fucking with me?
You know Helena Bonham Carter? Yeah, she played Bellatrix Lestrange in Harry Potter. She pl- she
Oh.
played this Queen Elizabeth in the
Hmm.
King's Speech.
Well, I'd like to think that Selena Gomez is haunting Glamis
Why?
Castle because I can just picture her around the walls, like singing, "Hey, welcome back to the Disney Channel," or one of her famous hits, like "When you're ready, come and get it." Na 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 na.
Maybe.
Or trying to like peddle her rare beauty products to the tourists.
For beauty products.
That's the
Jesus.
name of her company, Rare Beauty.
Oh, I thought you were like, I thought you were saying it's rare because they're never in stock.
No, no, her company's called Rare Beauty, and she's
Okay.
peddling at Glom's Castle.
Yeah, no, I don't think Selena Gomez is here.
Damn.
Sorry. Janet Douglas, Lady Gloms, who was burned at the stake as a witch, also roams the hall as a white lady because all of these castles have a white lady.
Well, I mean, it's Scotland. They were all probably white.
She's dressed in all white.
Oh.
In the castle chapel, there is one seat always reserved for her to come and attend services. The chapel is still used to this day for small family services, and everyone avoids the seat to as not to offend the white lady. I don't know what happens if you do offend her. Um, Probably, I would say if you offend her, it's she will probably do what Paul does when he's offended, and Paul will order a bunch of McDonald's and DoorDash and eat it all by himself while you watch.
That's not what I do when I'm offended. That's just what I do in general.
I think that's worse.
That's a Tuesday, okay? No, that's a Tuesday. No, she probably makes them like, you have to eat haggis from my husband's kilt. You have to go swim in the loch with the Loch Ness monster. You have to finger bang Selena Gomez until she releases a Wizards of Waverly Place sequel, other than the David Henry one, which
Yeah.
honestly, her brother really got hot in that show. It's crazy. David
Yeah, but
Henry,
he's kind of a dick.
yeah, he is, but he's a snack for sure.
Yeah. It's always a shame when they're a snack. But the most famous of the legends of Glamis revolves around a secret that was the talk of Europe for the better part of a century. Claude, 13th Earl of Strathmore, once said, if you could even guess the nature of this castle's secret, you would get down on your knees and thank God it was not yours.
Ooh. It's the ingredients in Selena Gomez's rare beauty products.
It's the KFC 27 herbs and spices. I don't know how many herbs and spices there are in KFC, the number, but 37 sounds about right.
He knows the Epstein files. It's the Epstein files. That's the
He
secret.
does. It's the Epstein files. He knows how many times Donald Trump's in them.
And he did nothing to stop it.
The secret first came to light through the writings of famed novelist Sir Walter Scott, who stayed at the castle in 1790 and wrote an account of his stay in 1830. He wrote, quote, As I heard door after door shut after my conductor had retired, I began to consider myself as too far from the living and somewhat too near to the dead, which is kind of like a bomb-ass quote. I
Interesting.
want when I have people stay with me, I want them to like leave, and this is my Yelp review.
You felt that they felt too close. Wait, what is it? Too far from the living, but too close
It,
to the dead?
too far from the living and too close to the dead.
I don't think you like live out in the middle of nowhere, like out far enough for people to feel like that. Like maybe if they slept in the room next to you, I could see how they might feel like close to death based on probably the smells and the sounds that probably come out of your room at night. But other than that, I don't see it.
I'm gonna stick them in the attic with a skeleton.
Mm. And they just hear the faint sounds of Bill and Rose arguing.
Talk about being too close to death.
Get away from the stove, Bill! It's too hot! What? It's too hot!
I can't hear you. My hand's burning. Scott also wrote of a secret room within the castle which had been walled up and lost to time. With nearly 400 years of bloody history at that time and remodels, it is unsurprising that such a room would be bricked up.
Oh, I'm always bricked up, so I get it.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody bricked up your room today. But soon people began to whisper of what or who was locked in that room. One story had that an old Lord Glamis was forced to give shelter to soldiers who were serving with his enemy, Lord Lindsay, during a storm, and he bricked the chamber in which they slept to exact revenge.
Ooh, how devious.
Another story had that each generation gave birth to a vampire, which would be sealed away in the walled up room to protect the family.
Okay, I like that. That's cool. They're giving birth to vampires.
Right?
That's
But like
fantastic.
one, could you imagine like every time you have a baby, it's like, oh, is this one gonna be the vampire?
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine, like, if you're the vampire, though, and then you just have to be, like, basically murdered? That would suck ass because
Right?
you didn't
Do you
ask to
think a
be.
baby vampire's cute?
Yes.
Like it has no teeth except for two tiny fangs.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? Justice for the baby vampires. They were born this way. Lady Gaga wrote that song for them. Wait, no, I almost started saying it wrong. I'm beautiful in my way, cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way as a vampire in a castle.
We're so close to having a episode without Paul singing. So close.
Yeah, but no cigar, so.
But the most compelling story is that of Thomas Bowes Lyon, Master of Glamis. Official records has it that Thomas, who was born to Thomas Lord Glamis, heir to the 11th Earl on October 21st, 1821, and died the same day. But a midwife who attended the birth said otherwise. She stated that the baby was born healthy and fit, and it was still healthy and fit when she left the castle following the birth, but that it was monstrously deformed.
Oh, looked a lot like Lindsay Lohan.
Exactly. It kind of looked like if Lindsay Lohan and George Santos had a baby.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I know you have your family pictures beside you, so I'm sure if you got one of your baby pictures, it might look a little bit like that also.
Possibly. Castle servants whispered of strange, monstrous groans and cries echoing from within the ancient walls of the castle, and of food trays that needed to be left in empty rooms.
That was just Selena Gomez making new music.
What's Selena Gomez's favorite food?
I don't know, probably like an Erewhon salad, I imagine, or something basic like that.
I asked for strawberry smoothie. This is raspberry.
No, honestly, I couldn't picture Selena doing that. Selena does give off the vibes that she's actually a really nice lady, and I shouldn't be bullying her this much this episode. But she's just the victim this episode, so lo siento, Selena, lo siento.
Newspapers later told of the story. Quote, In this chamber is confined a monster who is the rightful heir to the title and property, but who is so unpresentable that it is necessary to keep him out of sight and out of possession.
Ooh.
Guests of the castle soon began to confirm reports of the hidden room and the hideous secret within.
Damn. Could you imagine being that hideous, like that ugly, and everyone's just constantly just like railing on you about how ugly you are and
Yeah.
constantly just like bashing you?
See, but your family had it right because, like, they had you, but they didn't keep you a secret. They just let you go off into the world.
Exactly, exactly. No matter how many people this face scars, they just let me live. And there's something
Exactly.
beautiful about that. Kind of like if I knew his name, the youngest brother in the Wizards of Waverly Place series. No matter how ugly he was, they just let him do that.
Did you think he was ugly?
No, I just couldn't think of
Oh,
anyone
okay.
else. I'm kidding.
A workman at the castle found a hidden door in the part of the castle known as Mad Earl's Walk, which revealed a secret passage. In the gloom, he could just make out something, someone at the end of it. He was then found by the servants, and the Earl forced him to leave the country for Australia with payment to never speak of what he saw.
Wait, what year is this again that this happened?
18 something.
Okay, so this is a long time ago. Okay.
Mhm. Another guest, Lord Ernest Hamilton, wrote of finding a hidden passage beneath the trapdoor in the blue bedroom dressing room. A doctor staying at the castle returned to his room to find the carpet turned the wrong way, and when he moved all the furniture and carpet, he found a trapdoor, and the next morning he was promptly sent home at dawn.
Oh.
A Miss M. Gilchrist later wrote of waking in the middle of the night while staying at the castle to find the monster, half man, half toad, in her room.
What part is half toad? What part is the toad? What half?
I don't know. What do you think would be more horrific, like a centaur, but rather than horse like or no, wait. What's Mr. Tumnus? What's Mr.
Mr.
Tumnus
Isn't
from
he a centaur?
Narnia? Centaur, thank you. No,
Mhm.
centaur's half horse, half man. What's the one that's half fawn? Fawn.
Minotaur?
No, a fawn is half goat. Like, you know, like human
Mhm.
up here and the goat's legs.
Mhm.
Do we want it a fawn where it's a human with frog's legs and he's just really good at jumping and swimming? Or a frog minotaur where it was human legs and then a frog's torso and head?
Mhm. See, that's a good question, but all I can think about right now is right now at Trendle Manor, they have that frog playing the piano
Yes.
sculpture. That's all I'm thinking about. And that's based off the frog playing the piano and Over the Garden Wall, that
Mm-hmm.
TV show. And that's how I'm picturing it right now is like a frog that's like a man, like
Yes.
like fully green, frog fingers. That's what I'm picturing.
Slimy. Yes. Victoria Gabriel, a well known actress who stayed there, reported that one night the caretaker named Mr. Ralston was faced with having to stay at the castle overnight when a snowstorm blew in, and the Earl begged him to just stay and wait out the storm, but Ralston refused and woke up every servant in the castle to dig a path to his house a mile away rather than stay there.
That's a lot of digging. Girl.
Right?
I hope they got paid for that shit because that's a lot.
They did get paid. They got paid 3 pennies and a half day off on Sunday to attend church.
Oh, so nice. What a nice guy.
Even Charles Dickens wrote an article about all the stories which he had heard of the castle in London. Because of all this coverage, whisperings of the secret were flying across Europe, but they were even flying around the castle itself. The 12th Earl's wife desperately wanted to know the secret, but her husband refused to tell her. One day, while hosting a weekend party, her husband was called away on business, and the Countess organized a hunt. She devised a theory that such a secret room would have a window, so she and her guests flew through the castle and hung towels, handkerchiefs, and sheets from every single window they could find. Once complete, they walked around the castle and found only one window without such a marker, that none of them remember seeing.
That's actually a pretty smart way to do that. That's actually really smart.
At that moment, the Earl unexpectedly returned, and discovering what his wife had done, he flew into a rage and quickly divorced her and banished her to Italy.
That's just like a man. They love to keep fucking secrets. They love to keep secrets. And when you like clock them on it like she did, he just banished her. Men love to keep secrets from women.
Banished!
Banished.
It is said that on his deathbed, the 12th Earl told his brother the secret and made him promise to pray down the terrible secret he had tried to laugh away.
Mm-hmm.
Upon his death, Claude became the 13th Earl, and he had previously been a very happy, jovial man. Like, he loved like having sing-alongs with his family and playing games with his children. And when he found out the secret, his entire attitude changed after he was burdened with the secret.
Mm,
He started a major restoration of the chapel, and many guests reported finding him kneeling there in prayer for hours at a time. Family friend, the bishop at Brecon, noticed the change in the 13th Earl and offered to listen and help him bear the secret, but the Earl declined, saying that no one could ever help him.
damn, that's crazy.
His wife once said to the caretaker, Mr. Ralston, she wished to unravel the secret, and he looked at her very hard and told her, quote, Lady Strathmore, it is fortunate that you do not know it, and you can never know it, for if you did, you would not be a happy woman.
Damn. I don't know. At that point, would you want to know the secret?
No, especially because then her husband told her, quote, I have been into the room, I have heard the secret, and if you wish to please me, you will never mention the subject again.
That's crazy. No, the secret is just the toad guy, right? Or no?
I'm glad you asked that because we'll actually never know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The 13th Earl summoned his son and heir to initiate him with the secret, and his son refused to hear it after seeing how it affected his father.
Girl, I'd want to know that shit. One thing about me is I'm a nosy bitch.
His son succeeded as the 14th Earl in 1904 and was the father of the future Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. After that, the secret slowly died from memory as only three living persons ever knew it at one time: the Earl, the current Earl, a lawyer, and the estate caretaker. In the 1960s, the 16th Earl spoke of some of the rumors to a biographer writing about the Queen Mother, but strongly attested it was all a fairy tale. But there are others within the family who admit there is truth to the story, and that the once rightful heir was locked away due to his monstrous deformity.
Okay, interesting.
Now, are you ready for the really crazy part of the story?
Yes.
There is some proven fact behind this story, but the true monster is not a being, but shame and ignorance.
Mm, makes sense, makes sense. It was probably just a deformed child that they locked away.
It could have been because the Queen Mother's second eldest brother, John, and his wife, Fenella Trufusis, had two daughters named Nerissa, born in 1919, and Catherine, born in 1926, the same year as the future Queen Elizabeth II. Sometime before the Second World War, Nerissa and Catherine vanished, and it was reported in the 1960s that they had died in 1941 and 1960, respectively. In 1987, the Sun newspaper revealed the pair were very much alive and had been institutionalized in Earlswood Hospital, having been diagnosed in the 30s as imbeciles.
Oh, so it's that thing where they're locking women away when they're just too much for them. They're not actually mentally ill.
The pair had learning disabilities, and when
Mm,
their aunt became queen and their cousin heir to the throne, it is believed that their mother had them institutionalized and reported them as dead in family records rather than risk the fact that the two first cousins of the future queen had special needs conditions.
that's really awful.
Their mother's sister had three children who were also institutionalized in the same hospital as the two girls. And at time, people believed that the Trefusis family that they belonged to had mad blood and insanity was passed down. Anne, Lady Glenconnor, a close friend and lady in waiting to Nerissa and Catherine's cousin, Princess Margaret, wrote in her memoir that she was actually engaged to John Viscount Althorp, later Earl Spencer and father of Princess Diana, and that he was convinced to break up their engagement when he learned one of her grandmothers was a Trefusis and she might pass down the mad blood.
Oh my gosh. I mean, mental illness does can be passed down,
It
right?
can be. And actually, the director of the Murdoch Children's Research Institute in Australia speculated that there may have been some genetic disease affecting the Trefusis family, which killed off young male children and caused learning disabilities in the female children, which is
Mm,
why there were only like the daughters who had these
illnesses, yeah.
conditions.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And I do want to take just one brief moment for the name Trefusis, because that is an iconic name. I very much do like the name Trefusis.
Wait, hang on. The, I shortened it. Her Their mother's full last name was Hepburn Stewart Forbes Trefusis.
See, Trefusis is just the coolest name there. Like, no, Trefusis, still iconic name. We can
Yes.
take away all the other names. Trefusis, if you are named Trefusis, you're that girl. You're that bitch.
As a writer, will I be using that name at some point? Yes, I will be.
As you should, because it's an iconic last name or first name. Name your daughter Trefusis.
You're not going to name your child Vanilla?
Vanilla? Like vanilla with an F?
No, it's
Vanilla?
Fenella. Vanilla.
Vanilla? I don't like that. That one I don't really like. I like Trefusis more.
Um, Now, before we talk about how terrible the royal family is, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, only learned the truth in 1982.
Hmm.
So, like, she thought that her nieces were dead, and she immediately began to send money and gifts to her nieces for holidays and birthdays, as well as making large yearly donations to the hospital. The story of Nerissa and Catherine will later be covered in a documentary released in 2011 and covered in season 4, episode 7 of The Crown. Nerissa died in 1986 and Catherine died in 2014, and their mothers, three remaining grandchildren, all pulled together and made sure that they had proper headstones and burials.
Oh, that's actually really nice. I'm glad it had somewhat of a happy ending. I mean, it's not the ending they deserve, but it's somewhat a.
No, and it's not. And it's like, it's so hard because, like, I want to like rage at these people, but also we have so many stories of people who just didn't understand.
Right, right.
And even Queen Elizabeth's father, he had a brother who had epilepsy,
Hmm.
and there was a big stink like a couple years ago because like people went back to the records and they were like, "Oh my God, like Edward VIII and George VI had a brother who was just like locked away, but like he wasn't locked away. Like the family like sent him to live at like their family home where he had like grown up with like he had like a staff and like he went with his beloved nanny and like he actually had like a really full and happy lifestyle away from like the royal family, which probably would have just like overwhelmed him.
Hmm.
But also it's like, can't we blame these people for like not knowing?
Right. I mean, you can't do anything for something you don't know about. Like, if you don't
Exactly.
know, like, you can't blame them if they didn't know.
Yeah, and also we can't really blame the Queen Mother's brother because he died in 1930 and the Nerissa and Catherine were institutionalized afterwards.
Hmm.
I'm suspecting it was around 1936 when their aunt became queen. And I think their mother did it because she also had a sister who had children like that, and she didn't want to get blamed.
Mm, okay.
That's just
Interesting.
my hypothesis.
Interesting. Now, the story of this castle really did turn into less paranormal and more just kind of like sad.
It did, but like but that's the thing, like it makes the monster of Glom story that much more realistic because like
Mhm.
if there was a child born with a birth defect, like they probably did just hide him away and
Yeah, Very that. Hid him in the secret room in the castle and everything. It is a good story, though. I do like that
I
story.
loved researching this one. There's just so many twists and turns and like things that I didn't even like think to know about beforehand.
Right, right. And you know what? I would visit. Yeah, I do think I'm gonna have to go see the castle one day and visit Selena Gomez, see how she's doing, you know.
Amen.
See what my girl's up to after the Disney Channel days. She hasn't, oh, actually, she might have actually released new music in the past year. I forget.
I have
But
no clue.
oh,
Obviously no Smasher Pass because we ended it on a low note.
we haven't done a Smash or Pass in so long.
I think because I think we start the episodes on such a high,
Hmm.
and especially now that we're getting into a lot of true crime, there's no coming back at the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. Just like my life starts out great and then just progressively gets sadder and sadder and sadder.
Maybe we should do something at the end of the episodes that has nothing to do with the topic, like read each other's horoscopes or do a quick 3 card tarot spread just to try to lighten the mood.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll
We'll
start
think
thinking
we'll
about it.
workshop it. We'll workshop it.
Yup, we'll workshop it. Anything else about
No,
Glamis Castle?
no. Yes, I do have one more.
Okay,
Famously, we know that you hate Scotch whiskey.
I do, yes.
Would you try haggis?
I would try haggis. I forget exactly what haggis is, but I would try it.
It
It's like
is.
sheep's stomach, is it?
Hang on, let me look it up to get the exact. It is a savory pudding made from a sheep's heart, liver, and lungs, minced with oats, onion, fat, and spices, and cooked inside of a sheep's stomach. It has a peppery, gamey, and nutty flavor with a crumbly texture.
Where does the nut flavor come
I
from?
don't know.
That doesn't sit right with me. None of that.
Oh, do you know what it kind of looks? Okay, I pulled up a picture. We're gonna have to throw this in here. I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, it kind of looks like a weird loaf of bread to me.
It okay, so like if it wasn't cut, I would have assumed it was bread, but like with the cut, it looks kind of like a sausage.
Mm,
Like with that crumb, like sometimes you can get like the big Jimmy Dean sausage in the grocery store, and you
right.
cut it open, it's just like all crumbly.
Hmm.
And you use it to make like sausage gravy or to like put in other things.
You're
It's not
making
like
me
sausage
hungry.
sausage. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today.
Right. I'm craving Italian sausage now. One thing about me is I love a good old Italian sausage, and that's not even
Amen.
sexual either. I love an Italian sausage on the bun with the peppers and the onions and the whole shebang. Maybe I'll do that at some point soon. Who knows? Period.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed the story. And thank you all for bearing with us as we tried to do this remotely. Like I said, I don't want to spend any more of my gas this
Right.
weekend, and also like I wanted to like open up the floor for like if Paul or I are ever sick and we're feeling up to recording, but we don't want to get the other one sick, that we can do something like this.
Right, exactly, exactly. We're kind of like that show Two Broke Girls, and we're just flying by the seat of our pants.
Exactly. And also this gives us a chance of like I wouldn't make you do it on your vacation because you're going to Iceland, but I'm just going to Cape Cod and then to Clearwater, Florida with the two sides of my family.
Florida, it's one hell of a.
Florida. But like especially on the one with my father's side, I'd definitely be willing to take a couple hours of my day to record with you from Florida.
Well, maybe we'll have a special Florida episode. Maybe you can find whoever's episode,
If
they can
it's
find some
Yeah,
Florida
if it's mine or if it's yours, we'll find a really good Florida story.
period. We'll do that.
Well, anything else, Paul?
Nope, take her away.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you are listening. If you'd like to connect with us, please follow us on all of our social medias listed below. You can DM us. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or on Apple Podcasts, there should be a text me link in the description where you can text us and let us know your thoughts. Unfortunately, we cannot answer you. Or if you have your own stories, you can email us at cripsandcorks@gmail.com. Paul, where can they find you when you're at home?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And if you'd like to follow me, you can do so at The Real Cheech Powers on Instagram and on TikTok. And don't forget, if you do follow us on TikTok, to join us at 7 p.m. Eastern time for our TikTok live, where we discuss last week's episodes as well as what's going on in current events and popular culture in what we call Twinks and Drinks.
Period.
And until next time, all keep your crips tight.
And your corks loose. Bye.
Bye.